This afternoon, we're going to study the carnivores. So this is the carnivore lab, or the Carnivora lab. And this order has got quite a diversity of animals in it, about 300 different species. 260 plus of them are what we call physiped carnivores, like cats and dogs and hyenas and bears and stuff like that. And the other 36 species are marine, are the walruses, the sea lions, and the seals. And they're what we call the pinniped carnivores. Back when I was an undergraduate, they were actually classified as separate suborders, the physipeds and the pinnipeds. But like with so many things we've seen already, molecular genetics showed that that was a flawed assumption about relationships. And they're actually now regarded as two suborders, the Feliformia and the Caniformia. The Feliformia are the cat-like carnivores, and there are 7 families of those. And the Caniformia are the dog-like, for want of a better word, dog-like carnivores. And these include 3 families of pinnipeds, of marine seals, sea lions, and walruses. So we're going to move sequentially through these different families. This is one group actually that is well represented in our lab here. So we are, well, somewhat well represented. We only have one family represented from the 7 in the Feliformia. There are another six families. The one family we have is the Felidae, the cats, when we're looking at a cat skeleton right here. But there are 6 other families of things like mongooses and viverids and hyenas and stuff like that, mostly old world families. And I'll talk about those in lecture, but here I'm just going to deal with the cat family, the family Felidae, in this first video. And we've got 3 specimens here, 3 species to look at of a number of different specimens. So before we go on though, let's remember here we're dealing with the clade Ferae, which includes also the pangolins, which we've dealt with already. So the pangolins and the carnivores form a monophyletic group. And again, we're dealing with the order Carnivora and the suborder Feliformia first. And the first species we're going to look at is the domestic cat. And here we're dealing with the family Felidae, but we're going to also look at bobcats. We have bobcat skulls here, Lynx rufus, and we also have mountain lion, Puma concolor. So we'll get to that one last. So first, let's take a quick look at the generalized cat skeleton here. Now, remember I used the term Physipedia, and this cat skeleton here demonstrates this very well. Some carnivores are plantigrade. That is, they walk on their entire feet, things like raccoons and bears and so on. But most species of carnivores are terrestrial carnivores are physiped, and they're in the group. They were classified in the suborder Physipedia, and they have what's called digitigrade locomotion, and that means that they walk on their digits and on their fingers and toes, basically, not on the heel of their forefeet and hind feet. And you can see that clearly here with this cat skeleton, this mounted cat skeleton. You can see the claws that are retracted here on the toes. And here, let's look at the hind feet. And there you can see it's walking on its digits, and you can see the heel is right up here, all the way up here. So the heel is well off the ground. Similarly, the heel of the hand, or the front feet, is up here, and here you've got the digits on the ground. Felids, for the most part, are highly carnivorous. They're what I call natural-born killers, and you can see the morphology of that lifestyle here in this cat skeleton with these long, thin legs that are well adapted for running, very flexible spinal column, but especially so in the head region. We'll take a closer look at the teeth in a moment, but they don't have cats in general don't have a well-developed rostrum, snout, like you see on dogs and wolves, animals like that. So they don't have quite the same sense of smell. But if you look at the teeth, you'll see that the teeth are highly advanced when it comes to actual being carnivores. So they've got canine teeth, and they also have they don't have great development of crushing molars. The teeth are what we call secodont, S-E-C-O-D-O-N-T, and that means they're really designed for slicing and dicing. It's very white here. Let's see if I can. Okay, that's better. Now you can see the carnassial. This is the carnassial tooth here, the specialized slicing and dicing tooth of the upper jaw, premolar 4 on the upper jaw, and remember it's molar 1 on the lower jaw. Here you can see the corresponding tooth. This is the lower carnassial right here. So, and it's molar 1 on the lower jaw. So the distinctive feature about most cat skulls is that they're a short rostrum, don't have those long snouts. They and the teeth they don't have bunodont teeth. We have bunodont teeth. They don't have bunodont teeth. And when you look at the coyote skull, you'll see a big difference with the coyote skull, even though coyotes are carnivores as well. But coyotes are capable of more omnivory, whereas the cat is a true carnivore. So the next one we're going to go and take a look at now. I need to move the camera here. Is a bobcat. Oh, actually, before I go see the bobcat, I have another skull here that is a cutaway. And here you can see the it's sectioned down through the middle of the skull, and here you can see the how short the snout is relative to the cranium, the brain cavity. Okay, you can see the terminal bones in there. So it still has a pretty good sense of smell, much better than we have. But it's not as well developed as you see in the canids and the bears and the raccoons and so many other carnivores. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at a bobcat. This is a preserved bobcat skin that we have in the collection here. Beautiful pelt. And the bobcat's scientific name is Lynx rufus, which distinguishes it from the lynx proper. Of got some skulls here of bobcats. Bobcats are quite common throughout the western U.S., very common in California. This one was evidently shot. Well, I mean, the skull I'm looking at here doesn't necessarily belong to this skin, but now here you see the design and structure of this skull is very similar to the Felis catus skull, the domestic cat skull that we just looked at. It's just bigger, more robust. So, well-developed canines for catching and killing prey. Notice also how the eyes point forward, their binocular vision. So when they're chasing something or going to pounce on something, that they can judge distances very well. Again, you can clearly see the carnassial on this. Now this skull is way bigger. It's 2-3 times the size of the skull that we just looked at for the cat, domestic cat. And here you can see the lower carnassial a bit better on this one as well. This is it right here. Got a few more skulls here. They all are pretty similar. Here's another bobcat skull. This one I won't disarticulate. Oh yeah, one thing I should point out about these skulls is the more carnivorous the animal is, the carnivore is, the more rigid the jaw joint is. So you can see this here in the structure of the jaw joint and the articulation surface here on both sides. So don't have it in focus. Here we go. This is the articulation surface here. So and you can see it here on the lower jaw. Look at the articular surface. See, it's this conical articular surface here on the right side of the lower jaw. See the same thing here on the left. And that makes the bite of this bobcat very strong. And a struggling prey animal is not going to be able to move that jaw left or right. The only thing it can move really is the head of the bobcat as it tries to subdue the prey item, whatever that prey item is, whether it's a rabbit or a squirrel or something else that's trying to get away. Here's a third skull. Again, very distinctive, short rostrum, rounded skull, forward-facing orbits, and very well-developed carnassial. You can see them occluding together here on this. And so these really live up to their names as natural-born killers, as these cats do. So that's Lynx rufus and Felis catus. Now, the last one we're going to look at here is a mountain lion. And the mountain lion is Puma concolor. It's Puma concolor. Yeah, it's a much bigger skull, but it still follows the same design as the smaller felids that we just looked at. And here it is. So this is a model of a mountain lion skull. Unfortunately, we don't have an actual one in the collection, although we should be able to get one. They're pretty common. And so a few things to note about this here. It's a bit different from the lynx skull, which we just looked at. I'll just pull it back in here for a moment, leave it there. But notice the well-developed sagittal crest here. Sagittal crest along the top of the brain case here. This is for the attachment of muscles to the lower jaw. And these again are powerful powerful carnivores. You can see the carnassial tooth at the rear end of the upper left jaw there. Short rostrum again, short rounded skull with the rostrum is kind of foreshortened. You can see the terminal bones in there. Large canine sectorial teeth. They're secodont, so this means that the teeth are secodont. They're for slicing and dicing mainly. They're not bunodont teeth. We have bunodont teeth. Pigs have bunodont teeth. Raccoons have bunodont teeth. Bears have bunodont teeth, and you'll see those shortly. And it makes sense when you consider the diet of all of those animals. They're all, including us, we're all omnivores. Okay, so that's a quick tour through the Feliformia, and to distinguish it from the other families that we're going to take a look at. The Feliformia, it's the suborder has seven families, but only one is represented here. And the molecular genetics has made leaps and bounds in terms of our understanding of the relationships of the different types of carnivores. But morphologically, there's a difference too. The Feliformia, the cat suborder, the auditory bullae is different, and I'll be talking about this in lecture. It's formed from two bones, and whereas the caniform, the suborder Caniformia, has bullae that are formed from a single bone, and that's another way that the two suborders are separated. Okay, I think that's enough about the felids. You need to be able to tell these three to species. You refer to the handout on this: the domestic cat, Felis catus, the bobcat, Lynx rufus, and the mountain lion, Puma concolor.